Alrighty, traders. Ooh, excuse me. This is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Daily Roundup webinar. You know, it has been non-stop equity market melting higher. It is just, I mean, look at the S&P just flying. NASDAQ flying right into resistance. Dow flying. I mean, it's just continued melt up in stocks. So. And with that, I mean, it's going to keep the dollar under pressure, right? So, I mean, here's the Dow, you know, continuing to reach. I guess we'll probably see some resistance up here somewhere, I think. It's hard to tell. I mean, I guess we can do this. I'm just looking at the Dow really quick since I'm on it. I mean, we might reach for some resistance here. Let's see the S&P. I mean, we got our, megaphone pattern top coming up, 4,100. NASDAQ 100 here, or maybe even the 88% retracement, somewhere there. That's 13,725. So, I mean, currencies are just kind of stopped as everybody just sits back and watches the equity markets melt up. And as they melt up, like I said, the dollar is going to stay under pressure. Now, with that being said, there is something that I am waiting for, and that's the euro dollar. I'm actually trying to short euros as we get to 118. We're at the 38% retracement right now, which is 118. You can see it right here at 13. But I'm hoping we get to the previous support, which acts as current resistance around 118.30. Now, I have an order to sell the euro dollar right around the 118.30 level. But it could reach, in my opinion, all the way up to the 50% retracement. You can see it right there. It's right here at 118.50. So I think this whole zone is a sell zone for the euro. And I mean, hey, look at equities. They continue to stay strong. As long as they continue to stay strong, we should be able to see a little bit further dollar weakness into that support. And I mean, here's the dollar index, right? The dollar index is slipping, 92.50. It's just like the euro reaching up to that 118.30. It's like the dollar index reached for the 92.48 level, right? That's about where we should be, stalling or bouncing. Let's put it that way. Also, the sterling. This is a Gartley pattern. And I am looking for a move to 133 or 139.30 to 139.50. I actually just put in an order to sell some sterling up there. So just to let you guys know, that's kind of look at a few different things. So this is the 78% retracement right here. Do you guys see that? And then also the 50% retracement of this bigger move from the highs here. So it's a nice little confluence, right? Now, you can also say it's 161% extension of here, B to C equals 161% extension. That takes us right to 139.30s. So what am I saying? I'm trying to get short some cable and some euro up at these levels. Well, close to these levels, okay? That's what I'm trying to do, and hopefully, equities stay strong long enough to get us up there. Now, as far as the Aussie goes, I mean, the Aussie still has some distance to reach, I think, towards 77 cents. And you think about like Asia tonight. I think this is when you're going to see some of these levels hit. You might be asking, well, hey, Blake, are you going to sell some Aussies up there at 77 cents? I might, but I've got commodity currency shorts on as it is, with Norway and with the Canadian. It's like, I don't know if I really need to get more involved there. But let's talk about the dollar Canadian, speaking of which. We dipped to the 50% retracement, still really respecting this wedge. As far as I'm concerned, I mean, it's still respecting that level, this trend line right here. I don't want to move it or everything's going to start beeping all over the place. I still think it's, it depends how you draw it, and, it's not an exact science. So I do think that this 50% retracement here at the 125 levels is being very supportive. You guys know I can't get excited about the dollar Canadian until we're above 126.50. I just can't. I mean, I've got some. I'll sit in it. I'm not super excited about it. US dollar Norwegian krona just pushed below the 618, but pop right back up again. Little false breakdown there. I mean, look at crude. You know, I was just chatting with Tony in the chat room just a moment ago about crude oil. Crude oil is like super weak. And I was like, well, it's definitely not influencing the equity markets. And it's just now starting to see a little influence on the US dollar Canadian. But I think, you know, when you're looking at crude and this head and shoulder pattern, we have to get below 57. We get below 57, then we're talking. We get below 57, that's when you have to go, all right, I want to short Canadian dollars and I want to short, you know, Norwegian krona, maybe pesos, something like that. That's got to be like on your radar. It doesn't mean you have to. It's just you need to start looking at those currencies saying, okay, do I get long dollar Canadian, or maybe I get short Canadian yen, or, you know, because if you look at the dollar Canadian is absolutely getting mowed over today. I mean, we you know, dropped towards channel support, but you know, if crude oil breaks down and let's say the dollar Canadian or dollar yen breaks through this channel support, the Canadian yen's probably like the best short out there, right? That's what I would think, you know, but we're still $1 away from that neckline. And that's something to also think about. All right, got some comments coming in. Angela says, hey, Ange, how's it going? Interesting how much oil has sold off despite equity melt up and US dollar under pressure. Yeah, you know, I agree with you, Ange. I sit there and we're thinking the same thing, you know, in the chat rooms. By the way, we miss you in the chat rooms. And it's just one of those things that's like, yeah, I think you have to see crude oil technically break. And so that break is here. That's the neckline, 57. We get below 57, that's when we're all going to start going, okay, what do we sell off? I mean, what do we short? Do we short Norway? Do we short Canadian? You know, that type of thing. Irina says natural gas also dropped and very weak. You know, I haven't been looking at nat gas, but let's take a look. Yeah, you know, we're still it's like crude oil actually. Nat gas actually acts a lot like crude. Crude had the same issue. Remember we were challenging the underside of the broken trend line. Same with nat gas. I never really see nat gas as an influencer of anything other than nat gas. Patty says the confluence between oil and corn is almost never instant. Often it lags. Oh, oil and commodities. I'm sorry. I was reading. I'm like corn, but I'm older. My eyesight's not as good as it used to be. Hey, Euro Canadian. Got to keep an eye on that. One of the guys that I used to trade with we were sending emails back and forth on Thursday or Friday morning. I guess not Good Friday. It would have been no, it's Thursday. About the Euro Canadian. Let's watch this because with crude oil as weak as it is and the Euro's kind of holding up, this might not be a bad long right there. I think Pauly was saying something to me like 148 is just like really key. I mean, and it is. And we're here. So yeah, just keep an eye on it. All right. Ange says they say oil reflects the real economy. You know, that's what they say, but I've also been in the camp. If you remember the last couple of weeks, the Suez Canal, when it was like blocked up and crude, you know, rallied from where we're at now, 57 to like 63 or 64. I'm like, that's a bunch of BS. They're going to let this out as soon as that canal blockage is reopened. And here we are now. Again, if you start to see crude oil break down below $57, $56, then let's revisit that idea and that talk. But again, this is very similar to nat gas. How nat gas was challenging the underside of the trend line, couldn't break. Crude oil, same thing, right? Here's the underside of that broken trend line. We couldn't break it, and now we're rolling back over. So if we get below, 57, and then you got 55, I thought it was 55, but it's actually it's a descending trend line. So it is a little lower now. Let's get rid of that. This descending trend line comes in now around, let's say roughly about 54. We get below that, and then things get a little gnarly, I think. So anyway, hey guys, I'm going to tell you something. You ever have this has nothing to do with the markets. So if you guys I'm finished talking markets right now. I'm going to tell you something personal. When I was a young guy, when I was 13, 14, some of you may not know this. When I was 13, 14, 15 years old, I was a sponsored amateur skateboarder. I skated for Vans, the shoes. And I'm trying to see if I can find a picture here, an old picture. The reason why I'm telling you this is, you ever have a situation where you have like these throwbacks, brings back a lot of good memories, things that you've seen or watched or whatever. Last night, if you guys haven't seen it, it's on Amazon. Again, I'm done talking markets. So just if you guys want to check out, I understand. If you want to hear this, then give me two more minutes. If you guys have Amazon, there's a movie on there called Lords of Dogtown. And I watched it last night. It was really, I hadn't seen it in years, right? And it's so good. It's such a great movie. One of my sons watched it, and he's like, man, that's one of the the best movies I've seen. And it really is a good movie. Whether you grew up in the genre or not, it's just the acting's really good, and it's just it's a real. But for me,
we want pictures. We want pictures.
Oh, I'm seeing if I can find it. You know what, Steve? I'm looking at all these old pictures, and I removed.
Actually, you've shown me one in the past, if I remember right.
Yeah,
so you have at least one.
What I did recently is I removed a bunch of pictures off of this computer because I had so much stored on this computer. I put it on my drive, and just to clean up my computer a little bit. I did that a few months ago, and I don't have it here, but I can actually go grab, stand by. Because I have this, hold on really quick. And Steve, you should be saying hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody.
You should have said something while I was gone. I just had to walk. So over in another other room, I've got a digital camera or a digital frame, and I think my wife got it years ago for Christmas, and about 2 years ago, we pulled it out of it was just stored somewhere. We pulled it out and said, "Oh man, that is let's throw some pictures on there." And we threw a lot of pictures on there. And now whenever somebody comes over, it's in the kitchen. That's where everybody hangs out.
Yeah.
Everybody hangs out in the kitchen, no matter what house you have.
Indeed.
That's just where everybody congregates. So everybody loves.
That's where the most important thing in the house is the food.
Food, yeah. That's where we shower people with love and food. But I guess I was mentioning this because whenever somebody comes over to our house and they sit in our, they're in our kitchen having a glass of wine or whatever, the digital frame always just captivates everybody. It's amazing. And but I'm looking for, where are the skateboard pictures? I got to find them. There's 2 of them in there. I threw a couple in there, and that's where they're on my storage device that's in a safe, but oh, here they are. So this, oops, I pulled over this way. This is me. Look at how old that car is. See that, Steve? That is, I don't, that is a Toyota Corolla, probably like 1982.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And I actually am wearing a Dogtown. I remember that tank top. It's a Dogtown tank
Yeah, I
top.
think that's a picture I've seen actually.
Yeah, there's a Thrasher magazine. Then this is me right here. Oops. Here. This is. That's me. And I remember those yellow shorts. Oh my gosh. They had like skulls and crossbones on them and stuff. But that's me. Like here, there's another picture. This is, I mean, just look, you can see my face. I mean, but look at all these old cars. Look at these old Chevy trucks and campers. And I mean, this is, it's ridiculous. But anyways, a little show and tell. This is, I mean, I was 14 years old. So, I mean, that's 35, almost 36 years ago. Isn't that funny?
Time flies by, doesn't it?
It does. And anyway, I watched Lords of Dogtown. If you guys haven't seen it, it's on Amazon Prime. I know some of you have Amazon Prime but if you want to see what the lifestyle was in Venice, California, and Southern California, really in general, back in the 70s and early 80s,
So we have a new sponsor at the show, Amazon Prime, right?
Yeah, exactly. And Pepperstone Securities. No. All right, guys. Hey, anyway, I'm gonna let you. And Tony taught Tony Hawk a few things. It's funny you say that. Tony Hawk was. I remember when I saw him in person actually a couple of times because we used to have at ASU Stadium they would have, which is Arizona State University Stadium. They would have our annual skateboarder competition there, and those of us that were sponsored, we'd always go. But we're as spectators because these are all professionals. These are all the pros. And I remember when he first came on the scene and we were watching him on a half pipe going, man, that kid. And he, I mean, he's only a few years older than me. I think he's probably like 55, 54, maybe. I'm almost 50. So
I have no idea. I will assume that this guy is like very famous in that, right?
Oh, Tony Hawk he's the guy that really, and the guy in the movie, Stacy Peralta. Well, he was the guy that actually wrote the movie. He's the guy that sponsored Tony Hawk. So in the movie, Tony Hawk actually makes a cameo as an astronaut, which is really funny. It's such a great movie. But it's a real. Do you have Amazon Prime, Steve?
I do.
Oh yeah, get a chance.
And Netflix and Apple TV.
Lords of Dogtown. Yeah, Tony Hawk. Tony says Tony Hawk was born in '68. Yeah, so he is a few years older than me. Just a few. He's obviously done a little bit better than I have over the years.
A little bit.
Just a wee bit. Yeah. Just a wee bit. Anyway. Lorraine said, repeat the name of the movie, please. It's called Lords of Dogtown. It's and it's filmed. Hold on. I'm sorry, guys. This is totally not even. But so if you really like, do you guys know who Heath Ledger is?
Yes.
He's he was the Joker in The Dark Knight. He died of it.
And he committed suicide.
Well, he had an OD, but anyway,
whatever. In my mind, it's almost the same.
Yeah, this is him right here. And then Emil Hirsch, which is this actor right here. He's the one that did the movie Into the Wild, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. If you've never seen it, Into the Wild, where the explorer goes up into in the deepest parts of Alaska. It was just a wanderer. It's such a great book. It's a great book and great movie. But anyway, Lords of Dogtown, very, very good movie. And I hadn't seen it in probably 10 years. And we watched it with one of my kids last night, and it just brought back so many memories of when I was a kid. It's wild. Anyway, so Amira asked, Palladium? No, I'm done talking. I'm done with the markets today. It's a vacation. Take a vacation. I'm just kidding. Let's take a real quick look at Palladium. I guess I might as well look at something, right? I looked at everything else. Steve, anything else that you wanted to cover?
No, I just think that since we talked on the face webinar, I mean, we've been seeing what we were saying, that either stocks give up or the dollar gives up, and we now see that the dollar is catching up with stocks to the downside, of course.
And that was a great call, Steve. And stocks, and as I pointed out a little bit earlier, and Palladium, it's going to stay bid as long as stocks stay bid. But the thing I worry about, like Palladium, gold, anything else, is that they are really divergent with risk. I mean, you take the Aussie. Yeah, risk is higher today. Equities, I mean, we're all-time highs. Equities are ripping. The S&P's up 1% today.
Nobody worries about nothing.
No, but
everything is perfect.
Should be screaming this morning. I mean, you got the Aussie dollar; it's up a quarter percent. I mean, the thing's barely into resistance, as a minor resistance. It's got, but we get a little bit higher, 77.25. Anybody that's long is going to be bailing up there, and that's going to be the same with precious metals, Palladium, things like that. So, and Ange says often see a reversal after the holiday. Yeah, I mean, this is really thin liquidity. And I would not be surprised that tomorrow we're back right where we started. I 100% agree with that. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but I 100% agree with you. Anyway, guys, I hope you all have a great remainder of your day. I'm sorry I talked your head off. And like I said, and I apologize in advance. I said, hey, if you guys want to hear anything with markets, I'm done. So that was more of like just personal stuff. And,
inexcusable. You're fired.
Totally inexcusable.
You're fired.
Hope you guys have a great day. And thanks so much for, wait, I'm sorry. Christian said, hey, Blake, random question, but how did you decide on the FX pairs that you guys provide analysis on the dashboard? I noticed there's not very many Swiss crosses and a few others that are missing. Thanks. Well, that's a great question. And let me answer that really fast. Up until, the last few months, Swiss pairs, I mean, the Swiss is very, inverse to the euro. So, but it happens to be moving right now due to yields, right? Because interest rates are moving. But for many years they didn't move. And our team isn't, we're not Goldman Sachs or JP Morgan and have, unlimited resources, 30 tickers. What we've done over the years is if like we find one that we don't want anymore, we'll remove it and replace it with something like let's say we put the dollar Swiss in, we might take out pound yen, because the pound yen's not moving a whole lot. But that's not the case right now.
And in any case, Blake, people can always, as they do, like ask about whatever ticker they want in any of the webinars or in the chat room. So I mean,
yeah, that's right. That's why we provide this exclusive analysis for you guys. And if you ever need a view of something, just let us know. And yeah, it's one of those things that it's just limited resources. And I know like Steve, myself, Andre, Grega, those of us that provide the majority of the analysis, Paul Franco, I mean, for us to update 40, 50, 60 instruments, it starts to get a little overwhelming. And, as we grow, we actually, if for those of you that don't know, Steve, when we started, we only had 20.
Yeah, 20, if I remember right.
Yeah, 20 instruments, something like that. And then
20 or 20 little, and then we expanded them.
We've expanded it over the years, and we continue to. And as our team grows, we'll probably expand our analysis along the way too. Anyway, all right, guys. Hey, have a great one, and thanks everybody for tuning in. And have a wonderful day. We'll see you in the chat room or tomorrow morning on the Face webinar. Talk to you later, Steve.
Bye, Blake.
See you, buddy.
Bye, everybody.